Hi there, happy Monday. Hope you're having a good day so far, and thank you so much for joining me this evening. As always, throughout the practice, listen to your body and only do what feels right for it. Don't over push it. This is not a competition. Just work with what feels right for you today. And at any time, if you want to take a rest, go into child's pose or whatever resting position works for you until you're ready to come back and rejoin us. So I hope you enjoy the practice I've put together for us this evening. Let's get moving. So, or at least let's get staying still to start with. So take yourself down onto the floor in whatever position is most comfortable for you here. Legs out straight, or maybe your knees bent, feet on the floor, or maybe the soles of your feet touching. Whatever feels good for you today. And let's just begin to come into the moment, into the now. Letting go of everything that's going on in your life and in the world. For the next hour, this is about harmonizing your mind and your body through your breath. You have no roles, no responsibilities, nothing to do, but spend time in the present. And let's just begin to tune into ourselves and our breath here. So, starting with our hands, as you inhale, just gently allow the fingers to curl inward. And as you exhale, allowing them to open out. Just focusing on that tiny little movement of the fingers, working with your breath. And remembering as we breathe to breathe in through your nose, into your belly, filling the belly up, and exhale through the nose in a nice, soft, even rhythm. And bringing your legs out straight if they're not already straight. Having them a little bit apart. And allowing the fingers to stay still. Let's start to bring a little bit of movement into the legs. So just letting the feet flop out. And bring them in on the inhale and flop out on the exhale. And bring them in on the inhale. Noticing that connection between your breath and that tiny little movement. And coming to stillness, just bringing all of that focus onto the breath. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Keeping your tongue on the roof of your mouth, your inner gaze down towards your heart center, and listening to the sound of your breath.
And just bending those knees, bringing the feet to the floor. And I'm saying Alan is holding up some names, but it's flopping over. Oh, there we go. Hi to Natalie and Tina. Great to have you from Belgium. And Sarah Jane, Maria, Jean, Anka, and everybody else who's here. All of our regulars and any new people who are with us this evening. You're very welcome. Lovely to have you along. And from here, just rolling over onto your side to come up to sitting. And you may want to grab a block here. If you're on a block, just have your seat bones at the edge of the block, just helping you to open out your hips a little bit here. And let's just start by bringing our shoulders up to our ears, bringing them back and dropping them down. And again, up, back and down. Up, back and down. 2 more times. Really feeling the chest beginning to open and coming to stillness. Let's just turn our head to the left and back to the center and to the right and center. And syncing it with the breath on the inhale, turning it. On the exhale, bringing it back to center. And coming to stillness here. Let's just make our way onto our knees. As we kneel down, let me give you a sideways view. And bring the arms up tall. And allow them to swing out behind us as we open the chest and reach them up tall again, following the gaze up to the ceiling and bringing them back and reaching up. And swinging them back and once again reaching them up. And swinging them back as we rise up onto our knees, bringing the arms up, just allowing the palms to face downwards towards the floor. Thinking here as we hold this of the shoulders being soft. The knees are about hip distance apart, feet straight out behind you. And as we exhale, remembering to gently lift that pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up, draw the waist into the side. It just helps you to engage that core. And bringing those arms down by your side, moving back down onto your heels. And from here, bringing the hands into prayer and opening them out wide. And back into prayer and open them out wide. Begin to notice what this is doing to your chest. Opening it up, giving you some space there, beginning to wake up the shoulders. And this time, let's just bring out the left hand and allow it to drift behind us, following it with our gaze, bringing the hand back into prayer. Let's take the right hand out to the side and bring it behind us. And back to center, left hand out. And back to center and right hand out. And back to center. And from here, moving on to our seat bones to bring our legs out straight in front of us. Toes pointing upwards, sitting up tall on your seat bones, trying to keep equal weight on both seat bones. Just rock back and forth on them to really start to get a sense of whether you're sitting on them equally. And from here, opening out the arms, let's take a twist to the right and back to the center and to the left and center, right, center and left and center, and raising those arms up, bend those knees a little bit, and let's reach forward into a forward fold. Drawing the chest towards those thighs. Trying to keep length in the spine as you inhale, finding a little bit of length as you exhale. Seeing, can you get a little deeper into that forward fold? And coming up straight, let's just open the legs out. Mat distance if you're on a mat, or, about twice hip distance. And from here, raising the arms up, let's just bring little circles into them. And bringing those circles the other way. And turning to the right, let's bring those circles in. And in the other direction, coming back to center to circle. And 3 times in the other direction. And to the left, let's circle it. And back. Back to the center, this time bringing the arms behind you as we come forward with the chest. Again, thinking as you inhale of finding that length in the spine, and as you exhale, reaching a little bit deeper. And coming to sit up tall, let's open those legs out now as wide as they can go. Still keeping those toes pointing upwards, bringing the arms out to the sides, sitting up tall, keeping those shoulders over the hips. And let's turn to the right. And back to the center. And to the left. And center. And again, right. And center. And left. And center, bringing the hands down in front of you and starting to walk them out. As we begin to fold forward here. And when you reach your edge here, let's take 3 breaths. Inhaling, finding that extra space in the spine, and exhaling, seeing, can you get another millimeter lower? And making your way back up to sitting tall, bringing those legs into the center, give them a little shake out. And bending those knees, let's wake our way up to standing. Standing up nice and tall here, just glancing down at the feet to see, are they pointing in a straight line, straight to the front? Having a little nice equal weight across your feet, but gently pressing in with your big toe into the floor. And from here, we're going to let gravity take over as we ragdoll our way down towards the ground. Really slowly, just letting everything roll all the way down to wherever you end up. It doesn't matter where that is. It's whatever is right for your body right now. And when you get to that point, just hold on to each elbow and gently rock back and forth here.
And letting go the elbows, bending those knees as we very, very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, make our way back
up to standing. Hi Gladys and Barbara, you're very welcome. Lovely to have you along. And let's once again slowly begin to ragdoll our way down, allowing gravity to take us as we make our way down nice and low. And again, when you get to your point, just hold on to each elbow and gently rock. And bending the knees. Once again, making your way slowly all the way up to standing. And from standing here, let's put the arms on the hands onto the shoulders and circle with the elbows, a really big circle. And in the opposite direction. And coming to stillness, let's just allow the arms to swing from side to side. And once again, coming to stillness, let's make our way up to the top of the mat. And finding again your point of stability here, just aligning everything. So starting with the feet, checking they're pointing forward. Equal weight on both feet and spread evenly across the feet. Just lift those kneecaps a little bit to help engage the quads. On the exhale, remembering to lift that pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. Keeping the chest nice and open, the shoulders soft, the palms facing forward. Noticing how the breath can freely move through the body here, finding space as we breathe, thinking about really having a cord coming from the top of our head that's just helping us to fill up our entire spine, open it up to its full length. And on the next inhale, raising the arms all the way up. Let's do a couple of sun salutes here. So forward fold and halfway lift and forward fold. Stepping that right leg back as far as it can go. Opening out bending the knee, opening out the foot and rising up into your low lunge. Hands down either side of the foot, stepping back into your plank. You can stay here for a breath, or if you'd like to begin to bring a little bit more challenge into your sun salutes, you can come down onto your forearms and then come back up onto your hands. And then dropping onto the knees, feet, keeping those elbows in as you bring the chest to the floor, rolling through into a cobra and pushing up into a tabletop and making your way up into your first downward dog. So as it's the first of the day, let's really think about having the spine nice and long, pushing the hips back towards the back of the mat. Keep those knees bent to start with, heels up off the floor, and just begin to move into your dog here. So pedaling the feet, allowing the hips to sway as you make your way into your best version of this pose. And that can be always with the knees bent and heels up off the floor, or you can work towards beginning to straighten those knees or bring the heels towards the floor. It's really what works right for your body.
from here, you've got three choices. You can come down onto your knees and step that right foot forward. Or you can move that right foot to wherever it will go and then help it the rest of the way. Or you can step it all the way through. So whatever works for you each time, go with that version. Dropping that back knee
and rising up into your low lunge.
Hands down either side of the foot, stepping the back foot up to meet the front, keeping those knees bent,
Opening the arms out wide as we come up. Good. Let's take that on the other
side as we sweep down into a forward fold.
and halfway lift.
Forward fold. Let's step that left leg back.
Open out the foot, rising up into our low lunge and coming down into your plank. Staying here for a breath, or if you want that extra challenge, coming down onto your forearms and then back up onto your hands. And knees, feet, chest, rolling through into a cobra and pushing up through your tabletop into your version of the downward dog. And from here, bringing that left leg to the front in whatever way works for your body today. Allowing that right knee to come to the floor, opening out the foot, rising up the arms with the gaze.
Hands down either side of the foot, step that right foot up.
Bending the knees as we come all the way up, meeting with the hands in prayer. So many of you regulars are very familiar with the sun salute. So carry on at your own speed, and anybody who wants can stick with me as we make our way through a couple more sun salutes to get us on our way. So opening the arms out wide and up, coming into a forward fold and a halfway lift.
Forward fold, stepping that right leg back
onto the knee, open out the foot, coming up into your low lunge, raising the gaze for a little back bend.
Hands down either side of the foot, stepping it back into a plank, staying here for a breath, or coming down onto the forearms and back up into your plank. Knees, feet, chest. Cobra. And pushing up and all the way back into your version of the downward dog. Bringing that right leg up to the front again, your way. Dropping the left knee, open out the foot,
Rise up into your low lunge.
and hands down either side of the foot, stepping that left foot up to meet the front,
Coming all the way up to the top. Arms out to the side and up
as we forward fold and halfway lift. Forward fold, let's step that left leg back.
onto the knee. Open the foot, rising up.
And moving back into your plank. Staying here or moving up and down on your forearms. Then knees, feet, chest. Cobra through tabletop and pushing up into your downward dog. Getting that left leg up towards the front, by whatever means.
Right knee down, foot open, and rise up.
Hands down either side of the foot, stepping that right foot up.
Bending the knees as we come all the way up. Good. Let's go for it one more time on each side. Arms up
And forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold, right leg back into your low lunge. And moving from here through to your plank. And pushing through from cobra through tabletop to your downward dog. Getting that right leg up to the front of the mat.
into your low lunge.
And stepping the left leg up so you're in your forward fold.
Coming all the way up. Good. Last time on the left side. Forward fold. And a halfway lift.
Forward fold. Get that left leg back.
And to your low lunge on this side. And
moving through into your plank. I don't know if you can hear my bones crunching, but I can. And knees, feet, chest. Roll through to a cobra, pushing up into your tabletop, curling those toes, pushing the hips back, raising the knees up into your dog, and bringing that left leg to the top of the mat.
Into your low lunge on this side.
And hands down either side of the foot, stepping up into your forward fold,
Coming all the way up. And meeting back in prayer. Good. Hopefully you're beginning to feel a little bit warmed up now. From here, let's come onto the long side of the mat. And open those legs up. Nice and wide. And as we stand here, we want to have our toes facing towards the front or even a little bit inward. Keeping the shoulders over the hips, head over the heart. Chest nice and open. And feel that little crease just at the top of your legs here. We're going to bend forward with the chest leading, and you want to feel that crease closing. So you're keeping your spine nice and straight as you just begin to fold at the hips. And when you get to a point where you're not folding anymore, where that crease is no longer getting smaller, that's your point where you stop. And if you bring your hands down, maybe you can bring them to the floor. If you can't quite reach the floor, bend the knees to help you bring your hands to the floor. And from here, this might be good for you. Or if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can begin to walk these hands back so they come between, you're bending your elbows between your feet or even a little behind it. You may want to start to bring your head down towards the floor. And from here, breathing in, finding length in that spine, easing into this pose. If you feel any tightness anywhere, you might feel it on the inside of your thighs. Think about directing your breath towards that area. Let your breath help you with this pose. One more breath here. And if your hands were behind your legs, walk them back out in front of you. We're going to turn our right foot to the front of the mat and bend that right knee. And from here, keeping that right knee bent, your right hand can be either here on the floor, or if that's a struggle, you can have your elbow on your right knee. And raise your left hand up. And turn your gaze to look at that left hand. I'm going to take 2 more breaths here, easing into the pose, directing that breath to anywhere that might need it. And bringing that left hand down. We're going to just swivel around to being over this front leg. Turning that back foot inward a little bit and keeping the knee bent for now, reaching our chest down towards
this right foot. One more breath here. Taking the right arm and putting it onto that right leg. Let's lift up the left arm, and this time I'm going to bring it all the way up over our ear. So we're in a nice side angle pose, keeping that chest nice and open, looking towards the long side of the mat. One more breath. Bringing that left hand down behind you. Let's just raise this right arm up over our head. Keep the right knee bent for now. Breathing into any areas of discomfort. One more breath. And bringing that right hand down onto that right foot once again, that right leg. Walking around to the center. We're just going to take 2 breaths here in this forward fold. And turning that right foot slightly inward, let's turn the left foot towards the back of the mat, keeping that left leg bent for now, left knee bent, placing the left hand on the floor and raising the right hand up, or you can have your left arm on your left leg, left elbow on your left leg, whatever works for you. One more breath here. And bringing that right hand down, hands either side of this leg, turning that left foot a little bit more inward. Keeping this left leg bent, knee over ankle. And now bringing the left arm onto that left leg, raising the right arm all the way up over the ear, keeping that chest nice and open. One more breath. And then bringing that right arm down behind you as we raise the left hand up over the head, following the gaze, the palm of our gaze. Remembering on that exhale to lift the pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. And bringing that left hand down, let's make our way back to the center for 2 breaths. Turning that right foot towards the front of the mat. This time you can either go with your knee bent again, or if you'd like it a little bit more challenging, you can straighten that front leg. So straighten the right leg, being careful not to lock the knee. So even you might want to keep just a gentle bend in it. And from here, having that right hand on the floor and raising up the left hand. Don't worry if your right hand can't come to the floor, you can do this from anywhere that works for you. And bringing the left hand down, turning that left foot slightly inward as we bring the chest towards this right leg. Again, breathing into it. And bending the right knee this time, putting that arm onto it and bringing it up into your side angle. And left hand down behind you. You can straighten this right leg this time, raising the arm up over your head.
And coming to straightness, turning back to the center into your forward fold once more. One more breath. And turning that left foot to the front again. Yogi's choice here, either bend the knee or have that leg straight. And open the arm up. Raising that gaze. And turning to the front, over that left leg, allowing the right foot to turn inwards. Thinking about directing that breath into any areas that might need it here. And then bending that left knee, bringing the left elbow onto the leg as we reach the arm up over the ear, opening out that chest. And bringing the right arm down behind you, straightening that front leg as you raise the arm, hand over the head, following up with the gaze. And coming up straight, turning the feet to move into center. And from here, heel toeing the feet together, just making your way to the top of the mat and kneeling down and coming all the way down into your child's pose, which can be with your arms out straight in front of you or behind you, whichever way works best for you today. Or you may find it more comfortable to have your knees open wide and one fist on top of the other. It's a resting pose, so go with what feels most restful to you. Three more breaths here. And bring the hands down. Let's just bring those knees together and coming upward. So you can have your legs just a little bit apart here, bringing the hands onto the hips as we move into a camel pose. So we're going to just allow ourselves to take a gentle back bend here. You can just allow the gaze to come up to the ceiling, or if you feel okay with your neck, you can allow the head to come back. That's totally up to you. Personally, I always prefer to just keep the gaze up at the ceiling, with my chin slightly tucked in. Thinking about keeping the hips forward here, feeling into that nice gentle back bend. And coming up to straightness, let's make our way onto all fours. Having those fingers open nice and wide. Knees, our hips directly over knees, shoulders over wrists. Finding your neutral spine to start with, gaze at the mat. And let's do a couple of cat-cows. So rounding that spine from the tailbone all the way through to the crown of the head for your cat pose, and then transitioning into the cow, tilting the pelvis, opening the chest, raising the gaze. Syncing this with the breath, exhaling into your cat and inhaling into your cow.
And coming to stillness, just sitting back onto your heels,
Sitting up tall. If you find this challenging, you can stay upright off your heels if this is a little bit more comfortable, because it can be quite challenging if your calves are very tight, or your hamstrings or your quads. So keeping those shoulders again over the hips, sitting up tall, feeling the ease and flow of the breath. Let's just tune into the breath here for 3 breaths, closing the eyes, allowing the tongue to rest just at the roof of the mouth, turning that inner gaze downward and listening to the sound of your breath. And fluttering open the eyes here, let's make our way down onto our bellies.
forehead on the floor, hands beside your chest so your elbows are up and a little bit back so they're in quite tight to you. And from here, on our next inhale, we're going to lift up into a cobra, keeping that gaze on the floor, keeping the hands very light on the mat. So you're not pushing up with your hands, you're lifting yourself up with your core. And lowering yourself down. And once again, let's inhale and lift up. And exhale, lower down. And inhale, lifting up. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. And allowing that breath to move freely through you. Noticing any areas of tightness, directing the breath there. And allowing the head to come down to the floor. And from here, bringing the hands where they were and moving up into our plank. And from here, just turning onto the blade of that right foot and bringing your left foot into the center here. We're going to raise the left hand up. And you can lift the gaze, keeping those hips up, off, away from the earth. So we want to be lifting this up. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge here, you can bring your left foot on top of your right foot. One more breath. And bringing that left hand down, let's come into our normal plank. And taking that left hand into the center, turning over onto the blade of that left foot. Again, bringing the right foot into the center, raising the arms up. Or if you would like a little bit more of the challenge, putting that right foot on top of the left, lifting the hips up and away from the floor. One more breath here. And allowing that right hand to come down as we come back into a plank, bringing down the knees, feet, forehead, and allow the arms to come straight out in front. One more breath here. And once again, making our way back up into a plank. Turning over onto the side of that left foot. No, that right foot, apologies. This time, we're going to bring our left foot behind us and raise the arm and open it out.
into a wild child pose. Keeping the gaze on the ceiling. One more breath. And making your way back to your plank. Let's take that over to the other side. So left onto the blade of that left foot, bringing the right foot behind you, keeping that knee bent, bringing the right arm across. One more breath here. And making your way back to your plank. And knees, feet, chest, forehead on the floor and arms out. Feeling into this full length stretch. And from here, making your way over onto your back. Turning your fingers to point towards your hips. We're just going to raise up, so having onto the heels, up into an upward plank. Again, I would always keep the gaze up towards the ceiling here, lifting those hips up off the floor. Taking one more breath here. And gently lowering yourself down. And bring the arms all the way back this time. Let's bring those arms down by our sides, bending those knees. We're going to lift up one vertebrae at a time into our bridge. Keeping those hips pointing up towards the ceiling. And slowly lowering it down. Good, and once again, let's roll it up nice and slowly, lifting it up so the hips reach up towards that ceiling. And gently lowering it down. And bending those knees, hugging them into the chest. Just take a little gentle rock backwards and forwards. And from here, either holding on to the backs of your thighs or bringing your hands through the center to hold on to either the outside edge of your feet or your big toes. You can hook with your peace fingers. And let's just begin to move our legs in our happy baby pose here. And then coming to stillness, allowing that left leg to make its way down onto the floor, hugging that right knee into, so it's almost outside your body, and hugging it in as tight as you can, almost into your armpit. Keeping the shoulders soft here. One more breath. And allowing that right leg to make its way down to the floor as we bring our left leg up to do the same thing, hugging it in almost into your armpit, or as close as it can go, keeping those shoulders soft.
One more breath here. And allowing the leg to come down, having both knees bent, just letting them drop over to the right. Arms out in a T with your gaze to your left. Let's take 3 breaths here. And coming through center to take it over to the other side. Bringing yourself back into the center and preparing yourself for your final resting pose, Shavasana, in whatever way feels most comfortable for you. Grab a blanket if you want to. And I'll just take this opportunity to say thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed that practice. If you did, please help us to grow by sharing the page with your friends or tagging your friends in it. We'll be back here again live with a class on Wednesday at 6 and on Friday at 6. So if you can make either of those, we'd love to have you along, or next Monday. I will bid you namaste, and I hope you enjoy a few minutes of relaxation after all that great work you just did. So as you begin to settle down here, just allowing your body to absorb all of that work that you've done, let's just begin to totally let go. Letting go your toes, the soles of your feet, the tops of your feet, your ankles and heels. Letting go your shins and calves, the fronts of your knees, the backs of your knees, the fronts of your thighs, the backs of your thighs, letting go the whole of your legs, letting go your glutes, your whole pelvic area and hips, letting go your belly and the small of your back, the back of your rib cage, the front of your rib cage, letting go your chest and shoulder blades, letting go your shoulders and armpits, tops of your arms, elbows, forearms, palms of the hands, backs of the hands, fingers. Just let it all go. Letting go the back of your head, the crown of your head, your forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, jaws, chin, lips and tongue. Just let it all go. Allowing your eyes to fall down towards your heart center. As you focus on your breath, breathing in through your nose, into your belly, and out through your nose. And taking a little moment here of gratitude to yourself for doing the practice, to everybody who's practicing with us, and for whatever you have to be grateful for today.
and connecting with that inner self. Imagine you're walking through a forest, noticing the sounds, the smells, and seeing a little opening up in front, making your way there, where you see a lake and two swans gliding on the lake. Take a seat and enjoy.